Well, this is the gas station I used to usually stop at or come to when I was hungry and no supermarket around. But now I don't live in the countryside. I live in the city at my parents' place. I used to live in this countryside. I was breeding koi fish. I had llama. I had a goat. I had chickens. I had an ecosystem there. The place had an ecosystem before I even got there. There were plants that I planted, designs that I had made, um, a lot of equipment that I had collected, parts of sculptures, parts of wood that were going to become holds wood, a production line. I had equipment there, photography equipment. I made a music video, which I will try to remember and put a link over there. Um, I had shot the whole music video there. And this is in Lodi, California, 7002 East Kettleman Lane. Now, this was a property that I had bought, and I paid half the down payment, and my brother paid the other half. And I was going to pay it off, but I had gotten it actually for also my mother's dream that all of the family would live in different houses and live close to each other. So I invested all of my money in it. I, after buying it, I invested further in repairing things. All of the structures were repaired from the outside facade to the inside flooring, structurally, as well as roofing, landscaping. Um, I bought numerous things from auctions, um, railroad ties, uh, planters, and by the way, all of it is still there. I didn't get any of it. I couldn't take it with me. It was taken away from me. And you will find out how it was done, how methodical it was done, why it was done, the tricks that people play, and the training that people get to do this to people, and what kind of businesses exist there, what their motives are. And also you will find the middle people, the middle party people, like for example, I would consider it a real estate agent a middle person because he arranges, well, he does the whole paperwork, whatever. I mean, people who own lands or sell them can do the paperwork and stuff themselves as well. But they're supposed to be, more. I mean, you're supposed to have an advantage and save money because of them, the money that you pay them. They should be making for you because that's what they are supposed to bring to the table. But those middle people also have other people who work with them, like people who salvage things from these places and recycle them for their benefits, and it becomes a whole system. And also, you have property managers who manage properties for landlords, and you will understand how they the profit making aspect of it plays, and it has turned out into something completely different. So this I'm doing because I was actually assaulted, attacked with a huge rock to my head, seven huge staples in my head. Um, then I was as I in that incident, as I walked away, I was attacked again, and I will elaborate it more, but uh, nothing happened about it. The person who did it went scot free. It was like a punishment for me because of whatever concepts they had in their heads, and that's like as I wrote in the description, you will see that how people can misrepresent things. For example, if one person does not have exposure to a certain field, the middle person, and in that case, it was the handyman who did repairs, who did not have a foreman, who did not have an overseer, and I was that overseer. I was the designer, and I had caught him on new things, on lies and cheating. Um, I want to add one thing in it that when someone says, "Oh no, forget about paying," "Oh, you don't have to do so," those people, be aware of that, because those people, they act like they don't want, they're selfless or something. Yeah, right. I think if someone works hard, they deserve it, and they should say, "Hey, I deserve this much money," and they shouldn't be afraid of it. But when you come across these kind of people, that means there's something messed up about it. So when this person attacked me and stuff, I had called the police, and guess what? I was further victimized by the police, by the landlord who had bought the property. And the day that happened, that was the first day the landlord had actually come there. And you will also see what people do when they do something bad. You let it go. They will, out of guilt, try to come up with more justifications for their actions. But, and, not about, I learned about how a lot of women feel when they are wrongfully um, targeted just because they stand up for themselves or they're sovereign. So some men find it, you know, they're insecure about it. So I understand now how a lot of women, what women go through as well, because their integrity is not misrepresented. It's kind of late right now. I haven't slept, and I feel like I need to do this now, because the more I don't do anything about it, the more people get bolder. I get threatened, and uh, I actually have evidence of further entrapment. These people try to entrap furthermore. So you will also see the tactics that they use and how society doesn't see it. How there is always an for how do I explain it? This, I don't think like that. I don't try to come up with justifications, because I don't need to harm someone. I don't need to hurt someone to get benefit or take something away from someone just so that I can have a better life. No, money is not my objective. My objective is what I'm working on, and money is should be the byproduct. And if you're good at what you study or do, money automatically comes. And sometimes it comes after a little while, especially when it comes to science, research, medicine. When scientists are working on medicine formulas, it takes a while. There's an investment that goes into it. But imagine someone is trying to come up with a cure for something, and he's in the second or third year of being really close to it, and suddenly it's taken away. All the effort that is not visible to people because it's research, it's studying, it's making things, and it's not presented. And an invention goes through a presentation mode where, product designers, they make it more presentable, make it look pretty, cakeify it and stuff. Then people consider it okay, it's professional or something like that, and I'm fine with that. Yes, that's great. But what you don't see is all the experimentation, um, the study, the research, the money that's spent on it, the um, hours and hours of thought process that goes into it. That's what people don't see, and it's easy for them to think nothing because they don't even have time to do those things. And those are the people, those are the artists, those are the scientists, those are the different people, and I consider myself, because I spend a lot of time and effort in it, I I give priority to those things instead of um, you know just going out having fun or driving around my fancy car or whatever. But when money makes money and the objective is only money, and some people are addicted to the power of it, when they can buy sex, why make the effort to go and work out and stuff? So yeah, this is there's a lot of there's so much detail. By the way, I went through a harassment phase for nearly 2 years. For 2 years, I was being harassed. I was being stalked, and I didn't know who, why was being done, who was doing it. I might have too much empathy. I'm not trying to paint myself as a saint or something. We all make mistakes and stuff, but I make an effort to be good, to be justified, and I will not. And the means does not justify the end. So I will, I don't know, later right now or another time, continue this. And I will show you the people involved and how they use society's taboos, or I'll give you another example. Imagine it's a photographer and a model says that, oh, the photographer took advantage of me. People don't realize that models or the people who are being photographed can also plan it and try to take advantage of the photographer, because they know that society or the other people don't have time to think in detail, or won't know, or will it doesn't take long for someone to do bad. But if you're trying to defend yourself from that bad, it takes a lot more effort, because the people who are doing bad, they have no boundaries. They will do whatever they want to. They will harass you, they will hurt you, they will cheat you, lie to you, everything. But if a person on is good, he doesn't have many choices, because he has to stick to those rules where he has to judge his actions so that a third party does not get hurt, someone else doesn't get affected. And that's more important. It's very stressful to even think about it, because I went through so much difficulties and I've lost so much. And it's actually much worse than what it sounds like, because it actually opened my eyes to a lot of things. I was dealing with family, uh, being scapegoated by family on one hand, and no means am I saying that anybody is all bad and anybody is all good. We all have good and bad in us, but we ignore a lot of things, and we 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 watch these movies or things, and we think we tell ourselves that, oh, we are good, but we don't realize that a lot of things that we do are hypocritical. We end up doing the same things that we point out, and it's important for me as a human being, because I believe this world is a test, and luxury is not is going to benefit me in the long run, because if I don't have this body, those humanly desires are not going to matter, because what matters is to transcend, to be more powerful, to be more to be not stuck in this body, because if we are ruled by the rules of this body, we are not going to be a higher being or a higher light. So not only was I attacked, not only was I a victim, I was victimized again and again and again. I lost animals, various tactics were used, and what I every time I tried to uh, reach out for help or something, I discovered more corruption. And that is why I'm making this video, because I want to explain how this corruption happens, what are the elements. For example, there will be one person in a certain department, and how that person can influence the thoughts of the other people, or or you know, um, say slander a person and justify their actions, and make it seem like, oh, they're actually doing something else, but their main motive is because of something else. Because they want a piece of property, they will slander a person and make that person look like something else, and using the labels that we have, and we don't upgrade those thoughts. We don't upgrade that. Hey, this is 2019. People know about these things, and there are people who are taking advantage of it, who misrepresent it, or if people think a certain way about a certain type of people, they are stuck in it. They don't realize that there's a whole combination of people. Not to no, of course, everyone will agree that no two people are the same, but it's easier for us to just label someone or put them in a box and then move on, because it's simple for us. We don't have to spend so much time and effort into it. So I wonder how many other people have been affected by this. I bet there are a lot of people who are affected by this, a lot of people who are harassed, a lot of people who went through a horrible time, and they didn't have the opportunity to do what I'm doing. Because either they had family, children, and stuff. I'm single, and but I do have family. But I've been disappointed by so many people. They 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 tell me that they think I'm right, but as a whole, in front of other people, they don't have the guts to say it, or they just accept it. Oh, this is how it is. This is how it's gonna be. No, I don't want this world to be like this. I don't want a Mad Max kind of world. I remember watching that movie when I was a kid, and I was scared of how, because that seed of I don't give a shit kind of attitude, because so bad has been done to me, so I'm not gonna care about the world. Or in the 80s, 90s, people were so into uh, the digital world that I'm sure a lot of families overlooked taking care of their children, And I see this in society. I see the homeless people. I see the attitude that they don't have that some like they are all amazing human beings and so much talent goes unnoticed, but they're left behind. Society doesn't have time for them, so they go into other things. And also the horrible part is if someone has, for example, daddy issues, there are people who utilize that for their advantage and play those people like puppets. So I'm in a situation where I've been threatened by not just the police, not again, not all police is bad, not all society is bad. I mean, there's good and bad elements, but I am pointing out how those bad elements come together and how they're able to manipulate, and sometimes things happen by themselves because that's how nobody has time to look into improving things. Uh, Nobody has, and the suffering of the people is forgotten. A person who dies is thought of a little bit, and then people have to move on. They don't have time to think of those things. So it took me a while. It took me a lot of struggle, hunger. I ate from the garbage too, just like homeless people, or I call them shelterless people, because homeless is also another label that we just say, oh, homeless, let's move on. They're just on the streets, and if we were in a different situation, some people would be kissing their ass. Brings me to another point of how some people who have made money have so many ass kissers around them that it messes their sense of reality. Okay. Um, I went through a horrible time, but I've learned so much from it. I don't know whether to thank them or to take revenge. Revenge, I mean, by holding them accountable. Because I think a lot of society um, has become desensitized because they see there's no accountability at the top, and the big fish eats the small fish. But I say there are less big fish in the world. There are less fish in the world. It's not just what I say, because those fish get eaten eventually. Over and out. And now, since this is my first video, I have to figure out how to stop this thing. Rotate device. Why should I rotate this device? And where is the stop thing? There's an X, and I don't want to erase all of this. What does this do? Oh, it turns around. Anyway, this is the gas station. 7-Eleven.